Ah, remnant. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and express my sorrow. I spent 2 minutes making such a good intro. Like, you don't even know. Like, it was a high quality, as if I'm like a fucking top tier YouTuber intro, and I pressed one button on my editing software. And it didn't put the footage in the recycling bin or anything. No, it's gone. I have no idea what the fuck to say right now. Like, it was such a good intro. That's all I've got to say. It was such a good intro. You know what this video has made me? No, this editing software. It has made me tired. Whatever. I don't care. It's it went a little something like this. I pick apocalypse difficulty. I die in the tutorial, and then I get saved and I meet this kid in Ward 13, and then I go to the commander. I make fun of the lore, and like it was so funny. And then I like meet the ace. I meet Ace, the baddie, whatever, and then I lose, and I make a joke about how like it's apocalypse difficulty, and all the people think that I'm so amazing for like defeating the monsters, but it wasn't me, it was Ace. And then like and then they like trust me. They give me an estus size. They give me armor, like blah blah blah. And I made such a good quip. Like I couldn't get it on camera if I tried. Okay, like I just went off. Okay, it was so good. It was in Remnant. There's two different types of dodges, and arguably three. The first one is a dodge roll, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's the usual Dark Souls roll. It'll let you make distance, it'll put you in good positions to like attack later. The second dodge is a lot more offensive, but a lot more risky. It is a type of stationary dodge where you can stand your ground and you can counterattack a lot quicker, but the iframes are gonna get you killed. The third type of dodge is just walking, running, or aiming out of the way of projectiles. There's plenty of bosses and enemies in this game that expect you to walk and shoot at the same time, so you're gonna have to get really acquainted with trusting yourself to walk out of the way of projectiles. Throughout your entire roll animation, you can dodge projectiles, while stationary dodges are really bad for ranged attacks. Enemies' projectiles can also hit each other. When it comes to the gunplay, it's very similar to Borderlands, where you have white numbers to represent normal attacks, yellow numbers to represent critical hits, and red numbers to represent that you hit a weak spot. Critting a weak spot is represented by a big red number, and depending on how much damage your gun does, it will either stagger an enemy or not. Okay, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Talking like this is so painful. I just wanted to tell you about all the cool stuff in this game, and I'm talking like Joseph Anderson. I'm actually losing my mind. How the hell can someone be this intrigued by making a game review that he's capable of doing a script and then monotone talking over fucking bullshit? I don't even want to bother find the damage numbers. Like the big red damage number, there's a 10% chance you crit. And I hit weak spots a bit. I've never hit a fucking crit on the weak spot, so I can't show you what it looks like. So just trust me that it looks like a big red number. I'm gonna go get a drink. Okay. This is a shooting game, and surprisingly, the melee attacks in this game are really, really good. You can stagger enemies, you can, conserve your ammo just a little bit, even though ammo boxes trivialize the need for ammo conserving. Another cool thing I noticed is that depending on what body part you shoot, they react depending on which body part is hit, including the legs, which is really cool. If they take some damage to the legs, they'll trip, but if they take a lot of damage to the legs, they fall over. And when it comes to the ranged archetype in this game, there's a lot of them that teleport around. They don't ever shoot walls like morons. They will actually always try to shoot corners where you might peek out to shoot them. And these guys are really tanky, which often makes other enemies show up and ambush you. And I've died like a million times here when I was first starting out. And, yeah. Oh, pause right there. Another really cool thing about this game are the traits. I absolutely love the traits. You get a few traits when you start out the game, but you mostly unlock them over time by completing certain quests or by doing things like hitting a weak spot enough in order to unlock the weak spot exploiter trait. And a thing that I really like is that they are all only upgradable to level 20. which means that once you're done leveling HP, now you can focus on something a little bit less important, to the point where you're upgrading the vault jump. Also, your max XP needed is never going above 1,500 apparently. I'm way over leveled because since I'm playing Apocalypse, I keep dying over and over and over again, which leads me to keep killing the same enemies over and over and over again, leading me to just have too much XP. And I even use the Sage Stone Ring for absolutely everything, which gives me more XP. Okay, let me cut myself off halfway. Let's talk about a guy called the Gore Fist. This guy is a special enemy that I think is actually pretty fun. I had a lot of trouble with him at first, but his attack patterns are pretty easy to dodge, and he ends up being a pretty fun, tanky little encounter that eats up a lot of ammo. This brute type enemy archetype is also capable of attacking other monsters nearby, which I think is really, really cool. I recommend the game, and this is where it gets into spoilers, so let's go. Now, in this helicopter, there's an old fella that sells a very unique item for a Souls-like game. It is a potion that increases your HP, your max HP by 25%, no, by 25 HP, and it stays for an hour. Whether you die or you don't, it stays. And I think that that is actually really cool. Even if you leave the game and come back, the potion's effect is still going to be there. Gorefist and the ranged guy are elite enemies, and you'll hear this kind of like audio cue of like the zing to know that they're there. And the thing about the level layout and the dungeon layout is that you never know where the elite enemies are. They spawn at random in the same map. They can spawn at any area of the dungeon. All you know is that they are in the dungeon, but you don't know where they're gonna spawn this time around. Talking about that, here we have the slow gunner archetype, which he's pretty annoying, but there's a way to cheese this guy by abusing the fact that you can change your camera angle. This guy's largest strength, though, is that he can hold you down in one singular location while every single other enemy can swarm you easily. Okay, the final archetype I want to talk about is the Reaper archetype. I call it the Reaper because these guys show up out of nowhere, and they are the scariest fucking thing you could fight against in this game, because they appear out of nowhere and they have the ability to just kill you. If you shoot at them, it seems to work, like if you consistently shoot at them, but I really don't know how they work. I just run away from them and shoot at them, and then they will charge at you sometimes, and if you don't dodge that, you're dead. It's a horrifying experience to fight against these guys because they really do show up out of nowhere. I think that maybe if you take too long, maybe they show up. I don't know. But I do like these guys though, because they're like Mr. X from Resident Evil. It's crazy. And also, another tidbit, I completely freaked out during one of the boss fights, because a Reaper shows up at the end of one of a boss fight, and I fucking hate the Reaper because of that, but I still like him. This game's map design and this game's difficulty are my two favorite things. I like the map because it's simple. I don't get lost. I've been getting really tired of getting lost in games, and what boy, you know, I hate getting lost. But Remnant is not hard to pay attention. You have a map, so you know where to go, but sadly, it does get copy-pasted. There's dungeons that get copy-pasted sometimes. Bosses, oftentimes, and I really do mean oftentimes, are just reskins of currently existing enemies, which can be fun, but I understand that that is not how a good game is made. Elden Ring, full disrespect. Apocalypse difficulty may seem like one of those difficulties where you get one shot by everything and your performance needs to be perfect throughout the entire experience, but I didn't really have to try that hard. I just had to do the usual Dark Souls experience. Now, I could show you the boss and try to explain from there, but I really want to draw what this boss is. The boss starts off in the middle, and it's a little bit difficult to draw what it looks like, but what matters most is these corners. These corners and these railings that connect them. Now, this does have two floors, which are connected by, like, staircases, right? These staircases are here, and the thing that's really cool about this place is that the boss will shoot at you on the railing. So then you'll want to go inside of here, because then the boss might spawn inside and you can get some good shots on him, or maybe that's not what you want because enemies spawn all the time from everywhere. They are very stupid. So if you run away from them, you really do just counter them by running away from them. So if they group up in this square here, you can just run on the railing to the other one, or you can go on the ground and shoot from there. Maybe the boss will show up like right here as you're running away from the giant horde of like enemies, and then you'll get some shots at him. Then you'll run to this square, and then you'll start picking off the guys that are following you. It is so genius, and the fact that you're a ranged character really makes this all work, because you can just shoot the boss from all the way here. The best parts of how to fight the boss was when he's somewhere around here and you're somewhere here, right? And you shoot at him. So like, yeah, this boss was just so fun to fight against. And I'm really sad that not all the bosses were made with this much care. Of course, it might be accidental, it might be intentional, but the fact that this boss was made like this was just so fun, so fun. And that's all for now. I'm planning on making a second part to this review, where maybe I talk about specific areas, or maybe I talk about, I don't know what. Baba Spaghetti, please. I need your insight on this. What boy, I don't need yours, obviously. But I do need Baba Spaghetti to tell me some stuff. Tell me in the comments below on what you think of the review. I'm also going to be releasing like all of the boss fights in Apocalypse difficulty. I'm not actually too sure how you confirm that's an Apocalypse fight, besides it just being tanky. And also, I understand that the quality of this wasn't good. I'm not getting paid for this. I legitimately was thinking I have to just get my thoughts out of my head and onto a video and just put it behind me, because it's crazy on how much I'm thinking about this game, okay? It's so good. But yeah, but that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next one. I never had to make an outro before. This is interesting. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.